Hey coin lovers! Welcome to the Worth Old Coins channel, your place to discover the hidden value and rare facts about old coins. In today's video we're revealing the top 4 valuable coins, and one of them might just be in your collection. So don't skip this video, let's find out their real worth. Top 1. The America 1 cent 1972 D coin, commonly known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, is a fascinating and historically rich piece of United States coinage that reflects both America's cultural heritage and the technological advancement of the U.S. Mint during the 20th century. The coin carries the enduring image of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most iconic figures in American history, symbolizing unity, freedom, and perseverance. The 1972 D cent was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark located below the date on the obverse side. It was struck in an era when the Lincoln cent had already been in continuous production for over 60 years, making it one of the longest-running coin series in the world. The 1972 D penny represents the strength of the American monetary system, the legacy of Lincoln's leadership, and the evolution of U.S. coinage through decades of political, social, and technological transformation. The obverse front of the 1972 D 1 cent coin features the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born American sculptor who created the design in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, 1809. 1909, Brenner's portrait captures Lincoln in a thoughtful and dignified profile, reflecting the depth of his character and his role in preserving the Union during the American Civil War. Above Lincoln's head are the words, "In God We Trust," the national motto that has appeared on all U.S. coins since the 1950s. To the left of the portrait is the word, "Liberty," symbolizing the core value of the nation Lincoln fought to protect. To the right, the date, 1972, is inscribed, followed by the D mint mark, identifying the coin as a product of the Denver Mint in Colorado. The design's enduring beauty lies in its simplicity and symbolism, a tribute to one of America's greatest leaders and to the principles of liberty, justice, and faith that define the nation. The reverse back of the 1972 D penny features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse was created by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, who sought to honor Lincoln's memory with a design that symbolized national unity and democratic values. The Lincoln Memorial, located in Washington, D.C.A.S. depicted with remarkable precision, showing the central steps, pillars, and the statue of Lincoln seated inside a detail that can even be seen with magnification. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," appear above the building, representing the unity of the states under one nation. Below the memorial is the denomination 1 cent, written boldly to signify its value. This reverse design served as a visual reminder of Lincoln's lasting impact on American ideals and remained in use on U.S. pennies from 1959 until 2008. The 1972 D Lincoln cent was minted in large quantities, over 2.66 billion coins, reflecting the coin's importance in everyday commerce during the early 1970s. It was struck primarily for circulation, though some coins were made with particularly sharp details. Known as business strikes, the coin was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that had been standard for U.S. pennies since 1864. This high copper content gives older Lincoln cents their characteristic reddish-brown tone, which can darken with age due to oxidation. The coin has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a weight of 3.11 grams, and a plain edge. Because of the enormous mintage, most 1972 D pennies are common in circulated condition. However, uncirculated or mint state examples with full red luster are valued by collectors, especially when they show clean surfaces and sharp strikes. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1972 Lincoln cent series is the existence of double die varieties, where certain letters or numbers appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Although the most famous double die variety for 1972 was produced at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, some minor doubling varieties have been found on Denver minted coins as well, making 1972 an exciting year for error coin enthusiasts. Collectors often search for these rare variations, which can command high premiums in the numismatic market. Historically, 1972 was a significant year in the United States. The nation was emerging from the turbulent 1960s, marked by social change, the Vietnam War, and political shifts. President Richard Nixon was in office, and the country was on the brink of major economic transitions, including inflationary pressures and the eventual shift away from the gold standard. During this period, the Lincoln penny remained a symbol of stability and continuity, a familiar and trusted coin used daily by millions of Americans. The 1972 D penny circulated widely across the country, connecting generations through commerce and everyday life. Top 2. The America 1 cent 1975 D coin, more commonly known as the 1975 D Lincoln Memorial Cent, stands as a continuation of one of the most iconic and longest-running coin series in United States history. Minted at the Denver Mint in Colorado, as denoted by the D mint mark below the date on the obverse side. This coin carries forward the rich legacy of the Lincoln cent that began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1975, the Lincoln cent had become a deeply ingrained part of American culture, symbolizing the nation's ideals of liberty, unity, and perseverance. The 1975 D penny reflects not only the lasting admiration for Lincoln but also the evolving history of the United States during the mid-1970s, a decade marked by political change, economic uncertainty, and cultural transformation. The obverse front of the 1975 D penny features the classic and enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear subtly on the shoulder of Lincoln's bust. This design was first introduced in 1909 and has remained largely unchanged for over a century. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln shows him in right-facing profile, dignified and thoughtful. Symbolizing his leadership during the Civil War and his deep moral conviction. Above his head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," adopted as a declaration of faith and resilience. To the left is the word liberty, representing the foundational principle upon which the nation was built. On the right side of Lincoln's portrait, the date, 1975, is inscribed, followed by the D mint mark, indicating it was struck in Denver. The design simplicity and strength continue to evoke the same respect and admiration for Lincoln that Americans have held for generations. The reverse back of the 1975 D 1 cent coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic representation of national unity and democracy. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the Lincoln Memorial reverse design replaced the original wheat ears reverse in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The structure, located in Washington, D.C., is depicted in stunning detail, with even the seated statue of Lincoln visible inside the memorial when magnified. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E pluribus unum," out of many, one appear above the memorial, symbolizing the unity of the states under a single nation. Beneath the building, the denomination 1 cent is boldly written, completing the design. This imagery connects every Lincoln cent user, from children saving their first pennies to historians and collectors, to the spirit of American democracy and the enduring legacy of Lincoln's leadership. The 1975 D Lincoln cent was struck in enormous quantities. More than 4.5 billion coins were produced, making it one of the most common coins in circulation during that time. Each coin was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a traditional alloy that had been used for U.S. cents since 1864. This high copper content gives the coin its characteristic reddish-brown color, though over time, oxidation and handling can change its hue to darker shades of brown. The coin has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a weight of 3.11 grams, and a plain edge. While the vast majority of 1975 D pennies are common and have little monetary value beyond 1 cent, well-preserved, uncirculated examples, especially those with full red luster and sharp strikes, are prized among collectors, and high mint state grades MS65 and above. The 1975 D penny can hold modest numismatic value, reflecting the demand for pristine examples of classic Lincoln cents. The Denver Mint, where this coin was produced, has a long history of quality coinage production, and the 1975 D penny is no exception. However, despite the mint's precision, minor die variations and errors occasionally occurred. Some collectors have reported die cracks, die clashes, and light striking weaknesses among certain 1975 D specimens, making them interesting to error coin enthusiasts. Unlike the famous 1972 double die cent, the 1975 D issue is not known for major varieties, yet coins with strong luster, deep color, and minimal marks are sought after in the numismatic market. The year 1975 was a pivotal period in American history, and the circulation of the Lincoln penny during this era offers a window into the nation's socio-economic climate. The United States was emerging from the political turmoil of the Watergate scandal, which led to President Richard Nixon's resignation in 1974. By 1975, President Gerald Ford had taken office, and the country was grappling with challenges such as inflation, rising unemployment, and the lingering effects of the Vietnam War. Amid this backdrop of uncertainty, the penny bearing the image of Abraham Lincoln served as a small but enduring reminder of integrity, courage, and unity. The coin passed through the hands of millions of Americans, from factory workers and farmers to students and shopkeepers, connecting them through everyday commerce. and the shared legacy of a great leader. Culturally, the 1970s represented an era of transformation and reflection for the United States. The Lincoln cent remained a constant and object of familiarity in a time of change. Its production in such vast numbers ensured its presence in every pocket and cash register across the nation. For many Americans, the penny symbolized more than its face value. It was a token of national pride and a tangible link to history. The coin's endurance also highlighted the mint's commitment to maintaining tradition even as economic and material conditions evolved. From a collector's perspective, the 1975 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent is an essential part of any complete Lincoln cent collection. Although not rare, its significance lies in its place within the broader timeline of U.S. coinage. T represents the final years of the traditional copper composition before the shift to a copper-plated zinc alloy in 1982. Thus, coins like the 1975 D serve as the last chapters of a classic era in American numismatics. Collectors often preserve them for their historic and sentimental value, viewing them as artifacts of an America that was navigating change while holding fast to its core ideals. Top 3. The America 1 cent 1966 coin, also known as the 1966 Lincoln Memorial Cent, represents an important chapter in the long and proud history of United States coinage. It was struck during a transitional and economically challenging time in American history, a period marked by change, innovation, and modernization within the U.S. Mint. The 1966 penny carries the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, honoring the 16th President of the United States and his enduring legacy of unity, equality, and leadership during one of the most defining periods in American history, the Civil War. The Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, had already become the longest-running coin design in U.S. history by the time the 1966 issue was produced. The obverse front of the 1966 Lincoln penny features the famous and timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear subtly on Lincoln's shoulder, symbolizing the artistic legacy behind the nation's most beloved coin design. The portrait shows Lincoln facing right, with his dignified expression capturing his wisdom and moral resolve. Above his head appears the inscription, "In God We Trust," a motto first added to U.S. coinage during the Civil War, signifying the country's faith and perseverance. The left of Lincoln is the word liberty, reflecting one of the founding principles of the United States. On the right side of the bust, the year 1966 is prominently displayed. Interestingly, the 1966 penny bears no mint mark, regardless of whether it was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This was due to special minting procedures adopted during a national coin shortage in the mid-1960s, when the U.S. Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks to discourage coin hoarding. The reverse back of the 1966 Lincoln cent features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo and introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The memorial design replaced the original wheat ears reverse that appeared on Lincoln cents from 1909 to 1958. Gasparo's design beautifully depicts the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a structure dedicated to the president who preserved the Union and ended slavery. The design includes the inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E pluribus unum," out of many, one, symbolizing the nation's unity despite its diversity. Beneath the memorial appears the denomination, 1 cent. When viewed under magnification, the seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial is visible, making the 1966 penny one of the few coins to depict the same person on both sides. The composition of the 1966 1 cent coin remained the same as it had been since 1864: 95% copper and 5% zinc. This traditional copper alloy gave the coin its distinct reddish-brown color and durability. The coin weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and features a plain edge. The U.S. Mint produced the 1966 Lincoln cent in extremely large quantities, approximately 2,188,147,783 pieces, as part of an effort to alleviate a widespread coin shortage that had disrupted the American economy in the early 1960s. The high mintage means that the coin is not considered rare, but its historical context makes it an interesting collectible. Particularly for those fascinated by mid-20th century U.S. coinage. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1966 penny lies in its minting history. During the early 1960s, the United States experienced a severe coin shortage, driven by the booming post-war economy, population growth, and increased consumer spending. Many citizens began hoarding coins, believing that older silver and copper coins might rise in value due to their metal content. To combat this crisis, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which gave the U.S. Mint new powers, including the ability to strike coins without mint marks and to mint coins for up to 2 years with a single date. As a result, All coins dated 1965, 1966, and 1967 were struck without mint marks to discourage collectors from setting aside coins based on their mint origin. The absence of a mint mark on the 1966 penny is, therefore, a direct reflection of these unique historical circumstances. The 1966 Lincoln cent also serves as a symbol of technological progress and adaptation within the U.S. Mint. During this time, the Mint expanded production capacity and modernized equipment to meet the growing national demand for coins. The Philadelphia Mint handled the bulk of production, while the Denver and San Francisco Mints contributed additional output, though all coins were issued identically without distinguishing marks. This decision helped normalize coin circulation and ensured that all 1966 cents would be treated equally in commerce and terms of numismatic value. The 1966 Lincoln cent is generally considered common in circulated condition, often worth only its face value. However, uncirculated or mint state specimens, especially those with a rich red color, sharp details, and full luster, can be valuable to collectors. Coins graded MS65 Red RD or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can command a modest premium. Rare varieties such as striking errors, die cracks, or double dies may also attract attention from error coin enthusiasts. The coin's bright coppery appearance, when preserved, gives it visual appeal and a tangible connection to the era of its creation. The year 1966 itself was a remarkable and dynamic time in American history. The United States was deeply involved in the Vietnam War, civil rights movements were reshaping the nation's moral and legal landscape, and cultural revolutions in music, art, and technology were redefining the American identity. In this atmosphere of change, the penny, one of the smallest and most familiar symbols of the nation, continued to circulate through the hands of everyday Americans, from factory workers to students, linking them through a shared economic and historical heritage. From a cultural perspective, the 1966 penny represents resilience and unity. Just as Lincoln had fought to preserve the Union a century earlier, the United States in the 1960s was once again striving to strengthen its democratic ideals and social cohesion. The Lincoln cent served as a quiet but constant reminder of those enduring values. Its widespread presence in daily life made it not only a tool of commerce but also a small token of American history that carried Lincoln's image and the nation's founding principles into every transaction. Today, the 1966 Lincoln Memorial Cent remains a fascinating collectible for historians, numismatists, and everyday coin enthusiasts. While it is not rare, it is a coin rich in meaning, a reflection of America's political, social, and economic realities in the mid-20th century. It tells the story of a country navigating change while holding fast to its ideals of liberty, faith, and unity. Whether found in an old jar of pennies or preserved in a collector's album, the 1966 1-cent coin continues to embody the spirit of Abraham Lincoln and the enduring legacy of the American promise that even the smallest coin can carry a history far greater than its value. Top 4. The America 1-cent 1974 D coin, commonly known as the 1974 D Lincoln Memorial Cent, is a fascinating and historically significant piece in the long-running Lincoln cent series of the United States. Struck at the Denver Mint in 1974, this coin bears the D mint mark below the date on the obverse, marking its origin from Denver, Colorado. The Lincoln cent series had already been in continuous production since 1909, originally introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1974, it had become one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in the world. The 1974 D penny, while common in number, holds a unique place in American numismatic history due to its connection to one of the most famous experimental coinage programs, the 1974 aluminum cent trials, which sought to address rising copper prices. The obverse front of the 1974 D penny features the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Lincoln's right-facing profile captures his strength, compassion, and leadership qualities that symbolize unity and equality. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," adopted on all U.S. coins since the Civil War. To the left of the portrait is the word liberty, representing one of the founding principles of the United States. The right of Lincoln's bust is the date, 1974, with a small D mint mark just below it, denoting that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. The design remained largely unchanged since its introduction, a testament to its popularity and artistic excellence. The reverse back of the coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and replace the earlier wheat ears reverse that had been used from 1909 to 1958. The Lincoln Memorial was designed by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, and it remains one of the most detailed and symbolic reverses in U.S. coinage. The design depicts The neoclassical memorial in Washington, D.C. with United States of America inscribed above, and E pluribus unum, out of many, one, a motto celebrating national unity inscribed just below it. Beneath the image of the memorial appears the denomination 1 cent. Fascinating detail of this design is that, with magnification, the tiny seated statue of Abraham Lincoln can be seen inside the memorial, making this coin one of the few to depict the same historical figure on both sides. In terms of composition, the 1974 D Lincoln cent was struck primarily from 95% copper and 5% zinc, a formula that had been in use since 1962. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a plain edge. This copper composition gave the coin its rich reddish-brown hue, though over time, it often darkens to a chocolate brown due to oxidation. The Denver Mint produced an enormous number of these coins, over 4,235,098,000 pieces, to meet the demands of circulation in the 1970s expanding economy. Despite the high mintage, the 1974 D penny holds great historical and educational interest for collectors because of the economic debates and experiments surrounding its creation. The early 1970s were a period of economic turbulence in the United States, with inflation, rising commodity costs, and the global oil crisis putting pressure on the government to rethink its coinage production. The price of copper had increased significantly, making it expensive for the U.S. Mint to continue producing 1-cent coins using nearly pure copper. In response, the Mint began testing alternative materials in 1973 and 1974, including aluminum, which was cheaper and lighter. About 1.5 million aluminum cents dated 1974 were produced for testing and were distributed to members of Congress, Treasury officials, and other government bodies for evaluation. However, concerns arose that aluminum coins could cause problems with vending machines, and that their light weight might make them difficult to handle. Additionally, doctors raised safety concerns that aluminum coins might not show up clearly on X-rays if accidentally swallowed. As a result, the U.S. Mint abandoned the aluminum cent project, and nearly all of the 1974 aluminum cents were ordered to be destroyed. However, a few examples escaped destruction, most notably one struck at the Philadelphia Mint and another rumored to exist from the Denver Mint, the legendary 1974 D aluminum penny. These rare experimental pieces became subjects of immense fascination in the numismatic community. The 1974 D aluminum penny, in particular, is surrounded by mystery and legal controversy. Specimens surfaced in 2014, reportedly owned by the son of a former Denver Mint employee. The U.S. government, however, claimed it remained government property and demanded its return. The coin was never legally auctioned, and its current whereabouts remain uncertain. This connection to the aluminum cent controversy makes the 1974 D copper penny symbolically linked to one of the most intriguing episodes in modern coinage history. The Denver Mint, established in 1906, played a vital role in producing large quantities of coins for circulation throughout the western United States. In 1974, it operated at full capacity, striking billions of Lincoln cents to ensure that the national coin supply remained sufficient. While the aluminum experiment took place mostly at the Philadelphia Mint, Denver's copper-based output represented stability during a time of economic change. The D Mint mark thus serves as a small but significant reminder of the Mint's role in preserving the nation's currency integrity. In numismatic terms, the 1974 D penny is common in circulation, typically worth only its face value. However, examples in pristine condition, especially those graded MS65 Red RD or higher by grading services such as PCGS or NGC, can fetch modest premiums from collectors, often between $5 to $20 depending on luster, strike quality, and color preservation. The coin's beauty lies in its simplicity and symbolism. Rather than rarity, some era varieties from 1974 D, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and double dies, can attract greater interest and higher value among era coin enthusiasts. Beyond its physical characteristics, the 1974 D Lincoln cent represents a moment of transition and adaptation in U.S. monetary history. It tells the story of a nation grappling with inflation, technological experimentation, and industrial modernization while striving to maintain the trust and stability symbolized by its smallest coin. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse serves as a reminder of unity and perseverance, values that resonated deeply with Americans during the uncertain times of the 1970s. The penny continued to serve as a daily reminder of Lincoln's enduring legacy, a symbol of integrity and equality in the hands of millions of citizens. Every 1974 D cent that passed from person to person carried not only economic value but also historical continuity, linking generations through a shared monetary and cultural heritage. In a broader sense, the The 1974 D. Lincoln penny reflects the enduring strength of the U.S. Mint and the American economy adapting to challenges, experimenting with innovation and yet preserving tradition. Today, collectors and historians alike view the 1974 D 1-cent coin as more than just a common piece of change. T is a tangible connection to an era of experimentation, resilience, and technological advancement. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.